bundles just got better with 3 new apps. Watch more with PlayGo. Share more with Sportsmax. Read more news with Loop. Listen more with D-Music. Plus extra data. It's simply more bundles together. 51 gigabytes for 7 days for only $2,000. Live the experience with Digicel. Activate today on the My Digicel app.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good morning. Welcome to this morning's newscast on Kaieteur Radio. Kevin Smith here. Let's get to the news in detail. While the media in Guyana kicks up a storm about the country's sloth to audit billions of dollars in costs submitted by ExxonMobil for its operations here, a Wall Street Journal report published yesterday may put a kick in the government's step. 2 journalists, Christopher Matthews and Emily Glazer, reported for the American business-focused publication yesterday that ExxonMobil is the subject of an investigation by the Securities Exchange Commission, or the SEC, a powerful independent agency of the United States tasked with maintaining the fairness and orderliness of markets. The SEC was made to launch its investigation after an ExxonMobil employee filed a whistleblower complaint alleging that the oil supermajor inflated the value of an important petroleum asset in the United States Permian Basin, according to the Wall Street Journal. It noted that the U.S. whistleblower program, among other things, allows the whistleblower to receive a cut from any imposed monetary penalty. Meanwhile, a fight yesterday erupted in the chute of the Georgetown Magistrates Court between the 3 suspects who were remanded to prison for the gruesome murder of the Henry boys. The men charged are 20-year-old Akash Singh, a fisherman of Zilat squatting area, East Bank Essequibo, his stepbrother, 30-year-old Vinod Gopal of Yakusari, Blackbush Polder, Corentin Berbice, and 34-year-old Anil Sanchara, a laborer of Deadward Village, West Coast Berbice. Singh and Sanchara, along with Gopal, were without legal representation when they appeared before Magistrate Peter Hughes. Sanchara and Gopal were slapped with 2 joint charges, and Singh was charged separately with 2 counts of murder. They were not required to plead to the charges, which alleged that between September 5th, 2020 and September 6th, 2020, at Cotton Tree Back Dam, West Coast Berbice, they murdered Isaiah and Joel Henry. And now let's tell you, law must mandate the minimum participation of locals, U.S. oil analyst says, with aim of ensuring that citizens benefit from the maximum extent possible from the lucrative oil and gas sector. Guyana's laws should mandate a minimum target for the participation of locals. This was opined by Arthur Deakin, an analyst at America's Market Intelligence, or AMI. Last year, we would have disclosed through several comprehensive pieces how its neighbor, Suriname, takes local content seriously while showing some of the legal provisions it has in place to protect the interest of its people in the oil sector. Notably, the Surinamese petroleum law explicitly mandates that the employment of foreign personnel is strictly limited to functions for which there are no experienced and qualified Surinamese nationals available. In layman terms, it means that unless Surinamese are not qualified for a job, locals must always be chosen in front of foreigners or expatriates. And now let's tell you, while the subject of oil and gas was notably absent from his first media conference for 2021, opposition leader Joseph Harmon criticized the governing PPPC's decision to engage Washington's lobby firm, the Cormac Group, to represent its interest in the international front. The Washington lobby firm had teamed up with Otto Reach Associates LLC back in 2020 to represent the PPPC during the March 2nd, 2020 election fiasco alongside high-stakes public strategy firm Mercury Public Affairs. And now let's tell you, hitting its second unsuccessful well within the space of just 2 months is ExxonMobil. This follows after the U.S. oil giant announced yesterday that drilling at its Hassa-1 well in the lucrative Stabroek Block did not encounter any hydrocarbons. However, despite this company encountering a fruitless venture like the Tanaga-1 well in the Kaieteur Block, Guyana would still have to foot the hefty bill for the drilling of this hole. Meanwhile, the ICJ has deferred its case management conference for Guyana-Venezuela border case to January 25, 2021. The CMC hearing for the 1899 arbitral award between Guyana and Venezuela, which is under question, was scheduled to continue on January 15, 2021. However, we were reliably informed that the court belatedly decided to shift the hearing to later this month. The update on the matter before the ICJ comes even as heads of the two countries locked horns on the controversial issue. And leader of the opposition, Joseph Harmon, was keen to register yesterday his discontentment with the selective implementation of the regulations under the official gazette of COVID-19 measures set to protect citizens from the virus. During his first media conference for the year, Harmon claimed that officers of the Guyana Police Force are not enforcing the measures in a fair manner, as he stated. He lamented that the authorities cannot behave in such an arbitrary manner given that Guyana is such a small country. And that brings us to the end of this morning's newscast. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today. Digicel Prime Bundles just got better with 3 new apps. Watch more